What's up, guys? Welcome back to another beautiful interview. And I don't just have any regular interview. I got the legend. Dude, I was messing up on the steps before because, dude, oh my God, bro. I got Kris Kaylin in my studio, bro.
I'm excited to be here, and it's a very nice studio. It looks very, very good.
Can you introduce yourself for me? Like, this is insane. Like, yo, I'm mind boggled. I really am.
I am Kris Kaylin, the Princess of Charleston. I am a media influencer, multimedia maven in Charleston. Did a couple of things, so I'm excited to be here.
No, listen, if you guys know and you've been following Rise Elevate podcast, I've been trying to get her on here for so long. That's why I'm just like, I've been nervous today. And I appreciate her even taking time out of her beautiful journey to even get here because she's done so many wonderful things, not in just her life, but for Charleston as a city, as a community. And that's why for the promo, I was like, we got to give her flowers. Like, I don't think people give you your flowers enough. Like, yes, we have people say like the minor, you're doing it, you're killing it. But the stuff you do for the people. Like, if you really put it on paper, what you've done, like you could have been out of Charleston. Right. And
it's so funny. I literally had that conversation earlier. Well, two things. Like, the first thing, I will say it feels really good to have these conversations. Because, like, a lot of times, and it's hard for me to say the position that I'm in because in my mind, I still feel like just a regular person. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, like on my end, I feel like a lot of hate. Yeah. Really? Yeah. So like having conversations like this makes me feel really good. Mm-hmm. And like as far as like being out of Charleston, when I tell you I hear that so many times and I always tell people I am actively working towards that. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, it's one of those things that's the way I just feel like it's the timing. That's what I'm waiting on right now.
Yeah, and I feel like it comes with growing, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't want to ask what age you are or anything, but it's like what you go through and the experiences you've been through are going to shape you into that decision of whether you want to stay or not. And, and it's up to you. Yeah. It's not what everybody else thinks, but even before we dig deep, because I'm about to dig deep so into like your life, I want to make sure the camera's rolling because I have a tendency of messing up. So if you guys know and been following Rise to Elevate, I've done a whole interview for an hour and we had to wait for another day. And like, I've had my electricity shut off because of the storm.
Everything in the middle, that could happen happens.
Everything, and I still stand strong. So, but you
want to know something crazy? Go ahead, I did an entire episode with Trey Songz. I did it on Zoom, and I forgot to hit record.
Wow!
So after the interview, I was like, I don't. No one believes me. So I didn't say it was a conversation with Trey Songz.
How did you sleep? Like,
I was so pissed. I was so pissed. Like, I was like, the digital gods failed me.
Yeah, and like, but at the end of the day, like you can redo it. Like it's gonna happen again when you want it to,
and now I will say anytime I'm on Zoom I automatically record now and I make sure I shut it off. So lesson learned. So
hey, you have to go through those mistakes.
Yes, it happens to everyone. So you'll learn from that mistake.
Right. But we'll get into it because I really want to dig into like not just who you are as a person, but how you became the person you are. So where were you born?
In Charleston, South Carolina. So I am a unicorn. I feel like I am originally born and raised downtown Charleston to be exact.
I was gonna ask, like, what do you like growing up at a certain age? Maybe I'll just go with like 4 or 5. But what do you remember the most about Charleston growing up?
So I grew up at that age. I was downtown. I really remember growing up around my grandma who lived back to Gaston Green Projects. So just growing up around her, like going to Tiny Tots and just things like that. Like, not a lot of memory from that age, but I just was always surrounded by like a lot of family and a lot of love.
Well, did you feel like Charleston, because obviously we talk about the growth of Charleston and what it's becoming and what it will be like in the next 5 years. Do you think that it's a sad thing to see it grow the way it has? Because you've been around since the...
Yeah, no, I will say it's different. Just seeing like how the city of Charleston, it's funny, I was having a conversation with my friend and I was like, I went to Leon's for the first time like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, being from downtown and seeing like these places that are now restaurants and small boutique hotels. And I'm like, I remember what this was at one point. So at first it was just kind of like, I'm not interested in supporting it. But like, I will say going to it for the first time, it was like, okay, that's nice. But like, I don't know. It's weird to see like how people who were born and raised in Charleston get kicked out of where they are and what's coming in now. So it's just kind of like, I don't want to enjoy it, but it's also at the same time I have to get acclimated to the new community.
Right, because you would go to like Atlanta and you go to all these places,
and it's just like those areas have been gentrified, and I'm in there, I'm in there enjoying their restaurants. So like same thing for Charleston.
Because I've lived in Mount Pleasant, and that just like when I graduated, probably like 2016, 15, I saw that happening in my community, especially in the Hamlin's community. If you know. It sucks. So, but where'd you go to elementary school for some people? If you don't remember, it's okay. I know that's like a hard thing to dig into.
I remember that because my mom was a teacher at my school. So I went to James Simmons Elementary. I was there from kindergarten to 5th grade. Actually, the first play I ever did was at James Simmons. I was in first grade, and I was actually the mistress of ceremony, and I was the first time I ever choreographed a dance. It was called Bug's Life,
right?
And I was I was a ladybug, and I was the mistress of ceremony, and I still have that picture, and I still remember my lines.
Right. Oh, you got to do something. What do you remember? A little something.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kitty digs and kitty dads, we'll welcome you to our show, the best we've ever had. You're probably wondering what we are, dressed up with antennas and wings. Mostly we're bugs, some spiders and ants, and other squirms.
Hey, if you watch Bug Life, you know, because they're trying to make a remake to it, and I'm like, just keep it how it is, because just the vibe of Bug Life it's
so,
and then coming to life. I was going to ask though, like being that like energy at that age, like seeing like the passion you had for not just being on the stage, but like your speech, like did you feel like that was something you knew you were going to do now? And I don't want to fast forward a little bit, but
no, it's funny, growing up I always wanted to be a lawyer, right. So like, I mean, granted, still talking, people still having these conversations, but like I wanted, when I was like younger, like I wanted to be a lawyer for like some odd reason. I don't know what it was, but like that was just like my thing for like such a long time. I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I don't know like when it switched. I don't know. Like I really couldn't tell you when it switched, but I knew for sure when I got to college, I was like, all right, I need to figure out. Yeah, because I was a business marketing major, and I was like, accounting is not my thing. Yeah. Let me find something else to
do. Was like, you said your mother was a teacher at your elementary school. Do you feel like that was a good thing or a bad thing? Because, now you got your parent around 24/7, so.
I mean, I never saw it as a bad thing. So, like, I know now people are less like, oh, discipline. Like, I was never a bad kid growing up. Like, I never got beatings. Like, but I wasn't a disrespectful kid either. Like, I was well-mannered. Like, so it wasn't like and never had to be used as a threat towards me. Because, like, I always had integrity. So, like, I don't know. I wasn't like a bad kid who misbehaved or talked out in class.
But like when, let's say you're going to recess and you got this little crush on this boy, right? And your mom's right there. Yeah, like, do you think that like kind of maybe played a role in like?
I'm like, from what I can remember, like never. It really didn't. Cause like, and I will say like, I think it helps if everyone in the school likes your mom too. Yeah. Like everyone loved. My mom was a music teacher, so everyone loved her. So it was just kind of like.
It's a different vibe, because you got those teachers that are so mean.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure if everyone hated her, that would be a totally different conversation. But like, even till this day, like I can be in a grocery store and I'll be with her and they'll be like, "Tell your mom I said hi." And like, you have people who inbox me on Instagram. It's like, "You may not remember me, but your mom used to be my teacher." Right. So like, it's always been it's always been a good vibe. So like I was like, everyone called me Ms. Williams' daughter up until I literally got on air. So
no, or even like, you never. Were you in her class too?
For music, because she was a music teacher, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you were okay. Yeah. Well, you know how some people would be like, "You're the teacher's pet,"
right?
And
it was never that. It's just kind of like, okay, my mom's a music teacher. I'm here.
That's still cool though. I feel like I've never really had like a friend or anything growing up that their teacher was their parent,
I know. It is cool. So yeah.
But I was gonna ask, in middle school, you said you did, acting and stuff like that. You were into music. What else was something that like drew you in as a kid? Like, what's something you had an interest in?
So like middle school. So I was at James Simmons from K to 12th, and then I went to School of the Arts from 6th to 12th grade.
Did you redo like Bug's Life again, or what was the?
Did not. So I went to School of the Arts as a dance major. So I started dancing. So my dad actually played in a band. And every time like his band would perform on Sundays, like I would always like dance in front of the stage. So he ended up signing me up for dance lessons. So I started dancing from the time I was 7.
Yeah, you were a very energetic kid.
Yeah,
like you seemed like, and it's still carried on to like
for
now.
sure. So like I don't know, I just liked entertaining and that whole thing. So like I started dancing. So I went to School of the Arts as a dance major. So everything from ballet, modern, jazz, tap, hip hop, a little bit of everything in between. That's what I studied. So I got my thesis in dance. So like when it came down to hobbies, like I was dancing at school. I was a part of a dance company. So I was dancing on the weekends. I was also in Burke's band. I was Charisma Girl. So
what was your favorite moment about being a kid?
I don't
like from the age of like maybe elementary to high school, like because I mean high school you're still a kid.
Yeah. I mean it's a couple things because I mean outside of like okay obviously I love to dance so that like you mean like my big performance or just like
or just anything like what's something that like you were like this moment I'll never forget in growing up as a kid, like not even just in dance or anything, just something like for me, for example, I went to one of the biggest water parks in Orlando at a young age, and I remember just being there in that moment. Like there's stuff that like sticks out, like you know, so what's something that like as a kid that's you never forget?
God, I have so many core memories.
Yeah, well, it's just one. You know, I'm just trying to like hit on point. You know,
I will say like my mom being inducted getting her jersey retired officially at South Carolina State.
Wow,
because I was just kind of like, what's going on? Basketball.
Wow,
so up until then, my mom never told me about her career, and I was just like, what's going on here? So definitely a core memory, something I'll never forget.
What is something you appreciate about your mother?
She always encourages me just to like do like what my heart desires. You know, some people be like, "Oh, that idea is too crazy." Like my mom never told me any of my ideas were too crazy.
Especially as a kid.
Yeah, never. It was just like, all right, well, how you gonna do it? How you gonna get it done? Yeah. So like, she always like from a kid up until now supported me 110%.
Right. Always. What's some advice you can give to any kid who's like struggling to be themselves at that age? Like not even just like middle school, but high schoolers.
See, it's so hard with like social media now because it's just like the influence is everywhere. But I always tell people, you gotta trust your gut. You gotta trust your gut. Your gut never leads you wrong. And you're gonna go through seasons where like you're gonna go through friends, and that's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. But with growth, you know, it's growing pains, and growing pains don't necessarily stop when you're a kid. You experience growing pains as an adult. So it's just learning how to deal with those things.
Yeah, coping with it.
And just moving forward. Like, to just keep swimming.
What was your, like, friend group like? Were you, like, struggling to have friends, or were you just, like, surrounded by just family growing up?
Growing up, it was a mixture. Because, like, you know, granted, I had my family there, but, like, being involved in so many different, like, dance things and, like, organizations and clubs at school, it was a healthy mixture of both.
And I think a lot of times growing up, you don't even appreciate the people around you, so you forget when you get older.
Yeah.
It's like life is moving so fast, and you're just trying so hard to do what you love and be happy, you know?
Right.
So, like, after even middle school, growing up and everything, like, high school, like, was it, like, you were working through high school, or were you just like focused on just dancing and acting?
No, I didn't work during high school. I was just dancing. Wow. So like I was just a kid who was dancing, like going to school, dancing, going to school.
So dang, it carried on from
from elementary up until I graduated high school.
Wow. And that's why I just try to dig into some people's lives, because the next time you come on, it'll be like we don't have to ask anything about you growing up. We're just talking about the culture of like the world we live in. You know what I mean? Just like life in general. So like whenever you were in high school, what was your first job? You said you never worked, but what was your first job?
I think it was like a summer camp.
Yeah.
So I know in high school, like during the summer, I would do like summer camps. And then like I think after a summer camp, like my first job was like at Monkey Joe's or something like that.
Oh, Monkey Joe's. Yeah. That's a restaurant, right?
No, it was like a jump castle. Well, not it was like, but it was a jump castle place for kids.
Yeah. Okay. So after you graduated, where'd you graduate from?
Charleston County School of the Arts.
And then you went to what college?
South Carolina State University.
Wow. So you ended up following your mother's footsteps.
Yeah.
Did your father go there too?
My dad went to Voorhees College actually, but I will say I wanted to go to Hampton, but like like just cost wise, state gave me more money. But yeah, so I am a second generation Bulldog.
Wow. Dude, what's something you take pride about going to South Carolina State or have when going to?
The fact that it's an HBCU, the fact that when I got there, I made my name for myself as far as the digital media is concerned. I will say that's the place that birthed Kris Kaylin and Kris Kaylin Productions.
Is that like, you know, when you started actually taking more pride into being a media influencer? Or
yeah, that's what birthed it. So like I was a business marketing major when I got to state, and then I switched my major to broadcast communications because like at the time, like the reason why I was a marketing major because I just kind of was like, all right, well, I just need to be able to get a job when I graduate. But I took accounting, failed it with flying colors. That was the first time in my academic history that I ever failed a class. So I'm like in shock, like, oh my God, like my life is over. And so I was like, I want to do what Ryan Seacrest does. So I was like, all right, I'm going to become a broadcast communications major. And I switched my major my sophomore year. I did summer school and all of that so I could like graduate on time. And I started my first web series, which was called Bulldog Bite. And we were just talking about different things. So homecoming, road trips, fried chicken Wednesday, like just different things that happens on the campus at HBCU. And I had 3 seasons of it. And that birthed my digital footprint. I'll say like that. My first video on YouTube was of my show Bulldog Bite. So yeah. What's some advice you can give to somebody to make that first step to do what you kind of just explained what you do, but in a more depth of like you're being under pressure of having like, let's say your mother who just went to that same college and like that type of pressure. What's some advice you can give to somebody who's maybe looking for that extra push? And that's the thing. I would say for me, it was never pressure. It was just me figuring out what I wanted to do. And I'll never forget, I had a conversation with this guy and his name was Duke. And he was from Chicago. And I was just like, yeah, you know, my mom just in the gym, da-da-da. And he was like, well, that's your mom's legacy. What's going to be your legacy? Like, are you not going to make a name for yourself? And, like, ever since then, like, I feel like I was challenged. I was like, are you challenging me? Like, I can't make a name for myself? But, like, granted, he didn't say it like that. But, you know, that's just how I'm, like, thinking in my head, like, all right, how am I going to plot total domination?
Right,
and that's just what I did. So, like.
Do you feel like you have?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, as far as college is concerned. I left my mark. People still talking about, you know, that till this day. But as far as someone who doesn't know, you said what they don't know what they want to do?
Yeah, or just like in media, being a media influencer.
If you want to start, like, you just got to start. Like, I tell everybody, if you got a phone, you got a camera. Like, it's too accessible now to just say you don't know how to start. Like, you can go on TikTok shop, you can buy a mic, you can go on Amazon. Like, everything is literally at the palm of your hand. So it's just kind of like saying, oh, I don't know how to start. You don't want to at this point.
Yeah.
Anybody can start.
I feel like sometimes you just like when you do start, it's like working out during January after the New Year. It's like you do it for like a couple 4 weeks, and then that 5th week comes and you're like, I can take a break. Then that break ends up never. Yeah. So I think a lot of times it's a mind thing, but you know, going to college is kind of hard. So like, I know I keep saying like, what's some advice, but I really want people to learn from this, and I need to probably word it a little better. But what is some advice you can give to anybody attending college? Because I've never went to college, so maybe I could take in some
I always tell people when they go to college, get involved. It's so many organizations, it's so many different groups to get involved in. Whether you like gaming, if you like dancing, if you like modeling, if you like to be in SGA. So like student government. So when I went to South Carolina State, I was a part of ELC, which is Executive Leadership Council. And that umbrella is SGA, Campus Activities Board, and Royal Court. I knew when I went there, I wanted to be a campus queen. When I went to SOA, because it was an art school, we didn't have sports. So, like, we couldn't do Miss Freshman, Miss Sophomore, none of that. So, like, I knew when I went to, like, HBCU, I wanted to have the opportunity to, like, be Miss Freshman, Miss Sophomore. Yeah. So, did that. Then with Campus Activities Board, we planned homecoming. We planned different events. You meet the celebrities. You do these interviews. So, that started to foster, like, okay, this entertainment.
The foundation.
The foundation for that.
Yeah.
I was a part of a modeling group, Verve, which fostered, like, why I'm always twirling and, like, why I like fashion so much. So, like, getting to the point, Oh, I was in student media. So, like, I was writing with the paper. I was doing, like, news breaks for Bulldog
Did
News.
it feel easy, though?
Yeah, because I was passionate about it. Like, I literally, my internship was at WSSB 90.3, which is the radio station for the school. So, like, at that time, I never had a desire to be on air. I just wanted to know how to run everything. So, I knew how to import music, how to add it to the log. Like, I'm doing all these things, setting up interviews. So, like, because it was a club, an internship, whatever, for all of these things, I always tell people, when you go to college, even if incoming freshman who's preparing to go to school, if you're a freshman year, sophomore, junior, whatever, find something to get involved with. One, when you graduate, these are going to be like, and I hate to be cheesy, but not only are these going to be lifelong friends, these are going to be your lifelong contacts that you can call this person and say, oh yeah, we went to like SOA, whatever together, stay together. I have no problem doing X, Y, and Z. Or just building that connection. And like, when you find groups and organizations that you like you're gonna not want to go home every week. I always tell people, especially incoming freshmen, stop going home every weekend. Yeah. Like, enjoy the college campus. Go to the football games. Go to the basketball games. Because once college is over, you're never gonna get that back. Like, that 4 years of, like, I always call it utopia, because like, you don't got no real bills. You in college. Like, your friends are in like at most 100 feet away from you. Like, it's never going to be a time again like when y'all are all that close. Maybe homecoming, but homecoming is like, what, 48 hours, 72 hours at most.
And I hear that a lot, especially at my job. I work at Target. Yeah. But and a lot of the people come home every weekend.
Yeah, it's
college.
like, stop coming home. If you're coming home every weekend, you're a dweeb, loser.
Yeah. And because you're paying to be there. So it's like, you might as well get the full experience.
And
while
I will say, like, and I'm not sure how this is for everyone else, but like, going to school in Orangeburg, like, ain't shit to do in Orangeburg. Yeah. So it's just kind of like,
that's actually the college I was talking about. That people were
so like, you're gonna meet friends, you're gonna find friends. So like, when you're joining these organizations, there are gonna be parties on the weekend. Like, you're gonna build your own community.
What was your favorite part about going to college? Because I know you've done a lot.
I've done a lot. Like, when I was in college, I really enjoyed being a part of ELC, Executive Leadership Council, because I feel like being a part of that gave me the most exposure. Like, when I was a sophomore, we went to NASAP. NASAP is a conference for like all HBCUs. So your SGAs, your Royal Courts, your Campus Activities Board, you all come together, and it's like this big planning thing. And I mean, yeah, we're planning, but like, we're college kids, so we're still having fun. It's parties, and like, these are connections that like NASAP was like, 2013, 2014. But I still have these connections till this day. Like, you got some people who are working about to be presidents of universities or fashion lines, or they're big account executives.
Do you think it's about who you know and not what you know, or
a mixture? But I will say with a HBCU, because we know, that's the thing, you gotta know. You gotta know. So that, but who you know goes a hell of a long way. So being a part of Executive Leadership Council definitely exposed me a lot. Just traveling with them, traveling with the organization, going and talking to different students. Like, I just learned a lot. So like, it from etiquette classes to everything. So like, I always recommend get involved with something that you like.
As you should. I definitely think like people sleep on the whole college aspect, because I think you think about college and it's like party. But I want to dig out of college, because you know, there's some stuff I personally want to ask. I'm just trying to really stay apart on your growing up. I think that's like my favorite part about doing podcasts and stuff like that.
For sure.
After college, can you tell us and explain to some people what your intentions were? Because, you know, you got your degree and stuff. Did you end up pursuing your degree, or like, what was like after college?
So I got my degree in broadcast communications, and like, I graduated college in 2016. So like, the whole influencing thing, like, you had Instagram, you had Facebook, but you did not have TikTok, and you had YouTube. So like, simultaneously, I was still doing Bulldog Bite. Obviously, I wasn't in college anymore, so I wanted to figure out something else. So I started the Charleston Summer Series, and that was pretty much an interview
on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube. So excuse me, my first interview, my first celebrity interview was Jarrell Jerome, because he was filming Mr. Mercedes down here, and like, he was making music at the time, so we had to pop up at this like small record shop on Spring Street, and like, this guy Javon, who I was telling you about, he introduced me to him, interviewed him. And then a couple years later, not a couple years, maybe 2 years later, I did a follow-up interview with him. So like I interviewed Jarrell Jerome, I interviewed like people who had sneaker boutiques, like bartenders, like all different people. And then I realized when I started interviewing musical artists, that's where I got the most views. I'm like, okay, this is my niche. So
or even just hosting, right? Did you host around that time?
I didn't start hosting yet.
Yeah.
So this is like when I first graduated, so I didn't start hosting yet. So I'm just still building my own platform. Just building my own platform.
Interviews and
and then so when I started to interview musical artists, you know, I'm going to these shows, like the views are going up super consistent, like dropping interviews.
Were you like were you anticipating it? Because I mean, I know earlier you said you're doing this out of like kind of love. Well, not kind of, but you know, but at the same time you gotta.
Right. Well, see, at the time, so like I wasn't getting paid for these interviews. Like I was just doing the interviews just because like I felt like at the time the Post and Courier and the Charleston City paper, they weren't interviewing black artists.
Yeah, right.
And the black artists that they were interviewing were really safe. And I think that they're super talented, but I just felt like Charleston just has so much more talent that like they just weren't doing. So
Still
I like,
do.
So like I was like, I got my own platform, which was YouTube. I was like, I got followers. So I'm going to become my own media outlet. So that's when I started interviewing like the Harley Boys and Walter Brown, Poppy Native, like Benny Starr. Well, granted, he was in the Post and Courier, but like
Dirty Dave.
Yeah, so
did
like
you ever work with Dave?
I never interviewed Dirty Dave, but I interviewed like
but
OG.
just that
So like just different people like that. So and like it was doing really good. So then someone reached out to me, like just saw what I was doing on my own. I got a call from the radio station. Ended up.
Which one in particular?
Not speaking their name because I'm in some legal battles right now.
Okay.
But for the local radio station, and ended up working for them for 4 years. So like getting to the point, everything started from what I was doing on social media.
No, that's cool. It sounds like you got your worth out of doing your degree. Did you actually feel like you learned did you feel like you used what you learned in college now? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So even till this day, and I mean, like, granted, you know, I always believe iron sharpens iron. So like I'm still learning things about social media and editing like in real time till this day. But I'm definitely using my degree, and I'm happy to be using my degree. I'm glad that I found something that I was passionate about. And so like it's just a matter of it like just being consistent and just having to open that door. So what I was doing on social media got me in the door to a radio station. Then I started doing TV.
What's some advice you can give to any radio personnel that wants to pursue being not in their local radio station, but even being an intern or like to be in that realm? Well,
I will say you got to start. So you may start in as an intern doing promotions and I will say I just have a lot of favor in my life. Like I will say God put a lot of favor in my life because it's rare that you just come in, you know, just to be on air talent. Like a lot of people have to come in and they're working promotions or they're doing these things and you're doing like a lot of grunt work before you even touch the mic. So I will say you just got to get in where you fit in. Like if you're trying to have a career in radio, get in where you fit in at. So that may be promotions, starting, you know, like pretty much promotions is you going to these remotes, you passing out stuff, you being a tech. And then you can maybe be an engineer or like doing traffic. So the people you hear doing a traffic report and things like that. So like you just want to be able to work your way in, network your way in. And I will say like having podcasts, because like now in this day and age, your resume is on social media. Your resume is on your website.
It's a new social security card. Yeah. That's what some people say. It's like on your socials. So
it's just like, let's just say, okay, I want to be on air and you have no radio experience. Okay, but are you doing a podcast? Okay, if you're not doing a podcast, like how do you know you want to be on air talent? So you got to be able to put something in a package. And let's just say you don't have a podcast, but someone's telling you to send an air check. You need to figure out what is the hottest top 3 songs right now. You need to figure out what is the hot topic right now. And you need to package that into a 1 minute 30 second max air check so you can send this out to people.
Have you ever like had any like crazy moments to like people trying to like not work with you, but in that realm of working? Like have you ever had anything mysterious? I want to say mysterious, but just like awkwardly happen.
I wouldn't
like let's say you met Lil Wayne and his leg broke the one time you met him. You know what I mean? Like something that like oddly happened.
I wouldn't say oddly happened, but when I interviewed Kanye West, I was decided technically my on air shift was over, and he reached out to me because this was the time Kanye was running for president, and so like the guy who was on air, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be live or if he pre-recorded his show. Right. So like pretty much if you pre-record your show, like you know anyone can come in the studio, and I'm like, I want this interview with Kanye West. So like drove to the radio station on 2 wheels, and like when I burst through the door, I was so happy to not see him in there. Like love him to death, but I did not need him to be there that day.
Crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So like I was able to get the interview. So like it was something that I definitely wasn't expecting. Like, I was like I would say early, maybe 2 years into my radio career, but to like have an interview with Kanye West by myself, a solo interview, not only did like it do it, it went viral. It went it was on freaking CNN.
Did you feel like it boosted your, I wouldn't say ego, but just boosted your drive and like trying to pursue your career?
Yeah, and it let me know that like I'm on the right path and I know what I'm doing. Because like, you know, a lot of times when you're like interviewing people, it's like, damn, like, do I know what I'm doing? Or like, or something like I watch a lot of interviews. Like I watch a lot of people on YouTube. Yeah, because I always feel like I want my craft to be better. So it's just kind of like if I was in that position, what question would I ask, or did I think that was a good question?
Did you feel like you satisfied yourself?
Hell yeah. I will say this every time, like when I have like a big interview like that, or like I have a question I can go viral, I feel really good about it. I'm like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing.
Right. I think that's like the hardest thing about doing podcasts is, and this is me personally, I don't want the viral moments.
Right.
I really love doing this.
Yeah.
Like I really love getting to like watch the edit, the whole interview and being like, start to play. I just figured out who you are. Right. Not like that, but I can. No, that's my question.
And I do enjoy like those moments. Yeah. But I will say like, I want people to realize that I'm really good at what I do. So sometimes it takes that viral moment to bring them to my page. Yeah. Like I'll never forget, I did one interview and this guy, he was just like, he said, "You're actually good at this." And I was like, literally, I was like, "Oh, you just thought I was cute." Right. So like, and that's the thing. So like a lot of times I always tell people, it's like, I'm not stupid. Like I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm asking you. So like, yeah, you know, people like to look at people. It's like, yeah, not just cute, like I'm good at what I do. So like anytime someone is like, dang, like I really enjoyed your interview, or like those are some really good questions, that makes me feel really good. So yeah, I agree, like the viral moments are cool, but like the only reason I said that because it brings people to my page to see what I have going on. But it's like I'm really good at what I do.
At the end of the day, that's what we kind of have to do, you know. Like I just think some people make it a focal point, and it's not a focal
they just always want to ask like viral questions.
Well, they only want to work with you because like even you know, like even not even afraid to break the ice, but like your situation, you're a mogul in fucking Charleston, you know what I mean? And like there's people like Rise Over people, and it's like people would think that I'm just trying to get this interview. Like, no, I don't, honestly, not say I don't care, but I really just want to get to know who you are. I've been following you for a long time. We met in Deco at Schoolie, so like that was the moment I was ready to pick your brain apart. That's what I love to do. Like, yeah. Anyways, I do want to, because I know we're getting to the time, and I again thank you for even.
Of course.
Like
I enjoyed this.
We could sit and talk for hours. This little thing messed up back here, and it messed up the groove a little bit. Because when I'm locked in, and then something happens,
we kept going.
But I do want to kind of ask, what do you do? Like podcast? What's the name of your podcast?
Yes,
not just one, but podcast for some people who don't know.
So right now I am working with the Princess Dairies. So that is my podcast. That is my baby. That is what I'm very proud of. I am halfway through my season right now. So season 1 of the Princess Dairies podcast.
Can you like describe what the podcast is about for some people who would be interested to watch?
Absolutely. So it's just really conversations with interesting people. So like I kicked off my episode with my mom. I've interviewed Kiana Parler, Grammy.
That's goals right there.
Yeah,
that's great. How did that go? I don't mean to
that was a really awesome episode. And I will say, like, I was like, maybe my mom should be my co-host for my podcast, just because it was a really organic, really good conversation. And that lets me know, like, when you can just have good conversations, that's what matters. Like, I had so many people tell me, like, you know, I watched this episode multiple times, and like I want to be able to have a relationship like that with my mom. So like I was really happy about that. So I've interviewed Grammy winner, 2-time Grammy winner Kiana Parler. Wow. I interviewed Justin From Charleston.
All right, I didn't mean to cut you. I'm moving so fast because I didn't want to like hold you up. But is this in person or is this
it's
like
in person?
Yeah.
So I have my own podcast studio in Somerville, Linked Podcast Studio. Make sure you're booking, just not looking. But yeah, so like I mean, just a ton of interesting people. So just really good conversations. So like I will say for my season 1, I wanted just to, because like I said, I've been doing this for a minute. Like I just took a break just to get myself together. You got to get your mental health together, and I took a step back just to like figure out how I wanted to move forward, what I wanted to do, what message I wanted to lead with my podcast. So like now I feel like I've grown and matured from just my content to what I'm putting out. And I just wanted my podcast to do that with me. So like I said, this is just conversations with like people who I'm interested in speaking with, who I just feel like are really like positive people who have some really good shit going on, and it's really good conversations.
Just people you're curious about, sometimes, you know, or just like want to work with, you know. Yeah,
so absolutely. So I would say that's the basis of my podcast. You know, just exploring different things.
You said YouTube,
Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can stream the Princess Dairies podcast, and I am actually preparing for my finale episode, which will be taking place Thursday, July 24th. I will be having more details about that. Like, I don't even want to announce who my guest is going to be just yet.
Right.
But so, and I will say how I'm kicking off with, closing out my finale is how I'm going to go into season 2. So I do have a celebrity guest that will be on my finale episode. And I don't want people to think like, oh, you're just going to be interviewing celebrities. Like,
I mean, that's like the realm. Like,
that's what I want to get to though.
Yeah, like you have to do that. Like,
I gotta just like you gotta rise to elevate. I gotta elevate. So it's just like so for the first one, you know, I wanted to have a good foundation. So like I said, I got some evergreen episodes out there that people can go back and watch over and over and over again, whatever. But like, you know, I want to see the elevation and what I want to do for season 2. So I know for season 1 of my podcast, my biggest thing was consistency. And I was having an issue with that. I was having an issue with it. So like I found out what worked for me. And like I said, I'm halfway into season 1 and I'm very proud of that. How
do you fix your consistency?
So for me, what I had to do, I shot batch episodes. So like in March, I shot like 14 episodes.
Wow.
And so like that's
is there a particular location for it?
Yes. Or? So at my podcast studio. Okay. So I did everything in my podcast studio. So I shot 14 episodes that are like coming out right now in real time. And I'm just damn proud of them episodes.
I'm proud of you too.
Yeah, and like
when I started, you were already in the midst of doing stuff, and then you started another one, and I thought that was just already like give you props, because just to even start another podcast is like you know, like I'm scared to do that.
And that's how I felt. I was like, dang, I got to start another one.
From bottom,
so
you know?
So I was like, to start this other podcast and for it to be doing really good, and you know, like a lot of times I will say in just this process, I had to realize that I can bet on myself. And like, I don't know, sometimes imposter syndrome, I feel like I deal with like, am I as good as I think I am? But then it's just like when I'm asking these things and like things are just working out for me, I'm like, maybe I am just.
So you got to think about your accomplishments. You got to think about the influence you put in your community.
Yeah,
you know?
And then I will say that that imposter syndrome like just tries to do his big one. But like, I'm really happy that like, you know, I'm believing in myself. I'm kicking out this content, and I will say, regardless of whatever level you get to, you're gonna like have those conversations. Like, am I doing like? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I'm really happy to be here, to be in this space, to be able to say like, all right, I'm building this brick by brick and I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And no one's telling me how I should be doing it. And like I said, I am the captain of this shit.
Yeah, you're enjoying it.
And I'm really enjoying it. I'm honestly wholeheartedly, because like when it gets to things where it's people that I'm interested in having conversations with and people that I want to interview, like it just makes things easier.
Yeah, I could imagine, especially like I feel like you surround yourself with such good people who have motion. Yeah. Like earlier you saying the celebrity thing, it's not just celebrities, these are people who are doing stuff in their life. They're not just like dropping one song every year. Right. Or like, you know.
And I was like, celebrity influencer, like if you got a good following and you got some good things going on, like at this time I feel like people got to pour into each other. It got to make sense.
Yeah, it does. And I that's where I stopped kind of thinking of that. But I was going, or not like that, but just like I really just so focused on changing the world. That's why I went to the protest recently and I did a bunch of interviews.
Really?
Shout out to the chief of Somerville Police, We did him, and then we did sheriff for Dorchester County.
How was that?
And it was different. Like, I honestly was not expecting it, because I've done almost 200 public interviews in random places and around the world, and that was like the most, like, I felt uncomfortable.
Really?
Like, and it's just because of so much hate. Like, I'm such an energy person. Like,
Right.
if I, like, of course we're not always going to be happy, and we're not going to be like the most brightest person, but at the end of the day, like, I felt like everybody around there was just full of, like, just everybody was angry. And it sucks seeing a community, especially Summerville, South Carolina, where I grew up, to be so hateful and, like, you know, angry. And then just, yeah. But it was crazy, especially the views. Like, it blew up all over social media, which, you know, you think it's a good thing, but at the same time, and then you probably experienced this too. You have people coming up to you in person and, like, doing this, and they wanting to take pictures with you. But at the end of the day, it's like, where y'all been at?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've dropped 2,000 videos or something, a positive, motivational, and then it's like I do one thing for
exactly.
And then now I'm like, you know, not a mogul, but like just an icon in Charleston. And I feel like people kind of like, I don't know. It's just weird. I think it's weird.
And it's society. Yeah. Like, that's just negative things move quicker than positive things.
And that's that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I do want to ask, and this is like the last few questions. I have 2 or 3 more questions. What is your favorite social media platform? Because everybody has like that one that, like, I just have to use that one.
I will say Instagram is my favorite, but it's becoming TikTok, just because this is the thing. I have to get my TikTok followers, and, like, I don't know what it is, if the algorithm is defeating me. Like, I don't know. I need my TikTok to, like, match my Instagram. Because, like, that's just the thing. So, like, I don't want to get discouraged on TikTok, because I feel like, because I'm just like, no, because it's just like, what the hell? Like, it's like, I cannot get past like 300 views for some reason.
It's not you though. I think TikTok has something going on, because, like I said, that the moment when I went and did the protest interviews, all of it jumped up to like 50K in like a day, and it's like, it really is. It's just a weird. TikTok is picking and choosing what to go big.
So, like, my 803 Fresh interview got like 24,000 views, and then, like, so I'm like, you know, consistently posting after that, and then it's just like 300, 700, 300. I'm like, what the
Do you feel like views kind of like discourage people to even create though at some point?
I will say for me, but it's just kind of like, I just feel like on TikTok, I just haven't hit the right audience, because I'm like, my shit do good on Instagram. And then, like, sometimes I feel like on Instagram, I'm like, in this phase, I'm like, am I being shadow banned right now? Like, I'm like, some things that I feel like should have a higher amount of views is just kind of like,
or what worked on that one.
So, like,
a lot of people are actually creating new TikToks, which I know you may not want to do it, but they'll do it, and their thing will, like, the first 3 will boom to thousands.
Like, and that's crazy, because, like, I've had to make a new TikTok because I couldn't get into my old one. I'm gonna try to get back in my old TikTok. I don't know. I'm gonna figure this thing out.
TikTok's a handful anyway, and it could just get erased at any moment. That's why it's not my favorite. I love YouTube.
I know, and that's the thing. And YouTube is the highest paying platform. So, like, I will say, like, I've been consistently putting my videos and things on YouTube. So I've been doing that. But, like, I do, like, the thing about TikTok, I'm like, I gotta crack 10,000 followers by the end of summer. Like, I don't want to say by the end of summer, because that's looking like a little fleeting.
Set the bar high, though.
Yeah, but by the end of the year, I gotta crack 10,000 on TikTok. Like, I refuse not to. Like, I refuse to let the algorithm defeat me. Do y'all know who I am on TikTok? Like, please.
Recognize. I'm in the same boat though, because I'm about to be at 100K likes, but I only have 5,000 followers. So it's like, how can I have so much likes accumulated, but not enough followers?
So
it sucks. But I do want to ask, how does Kris Kaylin always be herself when she wakes up?
Oh, man, listen, I always tell people, when it comes down to influencers, being a media personality, I am who I am 110%. And sometimes
when you wake up?
When I wake up, like, that's the thing. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, I'm very authentic, whether if I'm hopping on social media with makeup on, no makeup, done up, whatever. And I feel like a lot of times when, like, people meet me, like, I don't know, like, and I don't know what people expect when they meet me, but I know who I am. So, like, they're always like, oh my God, you're, like, really chill, or, like, you're really funny, or you're really short. So it's just like, I always get, like, a mixture.
I personally feel like you lived up, because I've met you before, but to re-meet you again, it's like 10 out of 10 experience, because you really are who you are on social media in person. And, like, of course you're gonna have, like, you're human, you know, and you got to stand on business at the end of the day. Like, you shouldn't just be this person who's just open to everybody.
Exactly.
You have to close in sometimes. But to just, like, sum up, like, what you were saying though, I feel like you sleep on yourself.
I think so.
Like you gotta start speaking on stuff. No. Like you've done so, like you've lived a life that no one, like not many people, nobody's gonna ever experience.
You know what? And you're right. And I feel like a part of it is just kind of like, dang, like, you know how you want to pop your shit, but like you don't want people to be like, oh, she's it's like I feel like so like I went on this whole thing as like, oh, like this whole likability thing of wanting people to like me, but like in the last couple of months, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah,
like,
you have to.
Yeah, I was just like, if you don't like me, you just jealous and you don't like yourself. Yeah. And I was trying to be really polite about it, and I mean, granted, you know, still like not an arrogant asshole, but like I just realized I just can't conform myself to make other people comfortable. Because if I keep doing that, then like I feel like I'm not going to move. You're going to be, you know. I'm going to be in the same spot.
That's where a lot of people get stuck in life is they think that they shouldn't be able to talk about certain things that they've done or feel a certain way about themselves.
And it's just like, like you said, I've done this shit. Yeah. So like, and so that's the point as to where it's just like getting back to that whole like popping my shit, like in a very chill way, but like still like respect who I am. Respectfully. Yeah, that's respectfully.
But no, I definitely, and I can't believe I got Kris Kaylin on the pod finally. Like I've been waiting to do this for so long.
Thank you so much. Like, yeah, I feel so much love. Like I really appreciate you having me.
Like especially watching your pod. Like when I first was supposed to interview you, when I started all this, I was studying people. So like you're one of the only people I actually like studied a little bit because you know you got accolades and you're doing a lot. You're hosting events. You're doing podcasts. You're doing a lot of stuff. You're not just doing one thing. You know.
Right.
And I just can't believe this is happening.
I'm so excited.
I really can't believe it. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comments, or where can we find your social media real quick before we go?
You can connect with me, Kris Kaylin, on Instagram and Facebook, KrisKaylin, _Kris Kaylin on X and TikTok. And make sure you are subscribing to Princess Diaries podcast. You can connect with the THEE Princess Diaries on Instagram. And if you go to YouTube, if you type in Kris Kaylin Productions, everything will pop up, every Princess Diaries
or check
episode.
The descriptions below. I'll have two of her links to maybe just the podcast and Instagram.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And TikTok. I'll add TikTok in there for giggles.
Yes, please follow me on TikTok.
Right. But again, we got Kris Kaylin. Interview 120.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Remember, guys, stay true to yourself. The only way to achieve your dreams is through you. No one else is going to do it. You got to get up every single day and grind harder than me, Kris Kaylin.
Yep.
And this sign that fell earlier.
Yes.
I'll put it in at the end just so y'all can see it.
You got the same 24 hours as Beyonce got.
Yep. Lock in. Love you guys. Peace.